This is Modern Persian Food,
a culinary podcast for today's food enthusiast.
We talk about classic Persian flavors,
modern recipes,
and embracing culture and identity through food.
I'm Bita.
And I'm also Beata.
Welcome to our show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Modern Persian Food episode number 115. Today we have a special guest, Layla Yarjani, who is here from the Cook for Iran initiative. We're pleased to have her here. Layla has a background of building award-winning companies. She's an entrepreneur, humanitarian, and community builder, and builds impact-driven tech startups and social impact projects. She has received the Women of the Future Award and has spoken at several events. We are pleased to welcome you to the show, Layla June. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me today, Beata and Bita June.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, thanks for joining us.
We are super excited and interested to have this conversation with you. The Cook for Iran initiative, raising awareness for Iranian people, for women's rights. We've been seeing you on social media, and we thought that this would be a great opportunity to share with our listeners the work that you're doing and how people can participate and just learn a little bit more about the impact that you guys have.
Yeah, it would be my pleasure.
Yeah, tell us about the Cook for Iran.
Yeah, so Cook for Iran started with a very simple idea. How can we use food to bring people together and to inspire conversation and action to support the Iranian people? We had done a number of campaigns that raised awareness for other countries and other humanitarian emergencies following a very similar model. You may have come across Cook for Syria or Cook for Ukraine. And basically, when the movement in Iran started, I was working actively on the Cook for Ukraine campaign, which I helped start earlier this year, at the beginning of March, when Russia first invaded Ukraine, and was contemplating whether or not a similar model would be appropriate to raise awareness for Iran. And as the weeks passed, it became clearer and clearer that we needed to inspire action outside of the Iranian community. And specifically in the food scene, there wasn't much action happening at all to do with Iran. And so we initiated Cook for Iran, and the intention of it is, how do we make food for thought? How do we really empower our communities to gather in their homes, invite their friends, and discuss what's happening? How do we empower restaurants to add dishes, add in Iranian-inspired ingredients, host supper clubs or dinner parties? And I use the word party with like a sort of italicized, because these are not parties. They're much more sort of gatherings where people can come together, have a nice meal, have a meaningful conversation, and hopefully contribute to our charity partner that's doing work on the ground in Iran.
This is great on so many levels. I think food has always been a connector and kind of like an initiator to talk on topics that go beyond food. You know, it's a way into the culture that's easy, that everybody can identify with. And honestly, I think every guest we've had sort of goes back to that yes, it's about food, but it's about so much more. So I want to hear more about how to have conversations, and I want to learn more about exactly how to contribute. Because I have people ask me, like, how can we help?
Yeah, I think the most simple way that someone can help is to host a dinner or host a cookie exchange or a bake sale of some sort. So very simply, choose a few Iranian dishes, pick a date, and invite folks over. And in the invitation, indicate that this is in honor of the Iranian people and that you're participating in the Cook for Iran campaign, which aims to highlight the call for freedom and human rights in Iran. And by incorporating those elements, you're giving your guests a light way to engage with what is happening. And at the same time, you're sort of opening the door for a conversation at your dinner or your lunch or your gathering. And what we are asking folks to do at home is host, it's organize, it's share the campaign with your friends. And outside of that, if you're not someone who loves to host, which I've yet to meet many Iranians who don't like to have their friends around, but if you don't, that's completely fine also. You can share on social, you can share with your colleagues, you can share over email. It does not have to be such a public gesture, but what we're asking for people to do is to keep the conversation alive, especially during the holiday season, and find ways to use the food, the recipes, and the idea of gathering as a way to inspire food for thought, right? So that is what we kind of keep going back to, is how can you use food to inspire conversation? And I think there are a lot of different ways that has manifested itself. So we've seen individuals hosting private dinners in their home. We've seen restaurants dedicating entire nights to the campaign. And so there are a whole lot of ways to get involved. And if you visit our website, you can see even more ideas, or if you check out our Instagram, you can see different variations. Like there was one woman who's been sharing Iranian cold remedies. So she's showing people how to prepare beh and how to eat the beh and why and when, and how to use the seeds and water and why that helps your throat. And just lovely things about our culture that are just coming alive. And at the same time, it's the tone and energy with which we do it helps people to understand that, yes, this is beautiful. Yes, this is delicious. But actually, like underlying this is something very serious that we're inviting you to have a conversation around. And in terms of the charity partner, which I believe is your second question, we've chosen the Center for Mind Body Medicine's Iran program as our charity partner. And the Center for Mind Body Medicine was founded in the 90s by Dr. Jim Gordon. He's developed a methodology that uses a combination of breath, movement, and I don't want to say it's not yoga, but it's different types of movement that help release stress, different types of breath work, different exercises and reflections inside a safe community context where you actually learn how to manage emotions and just live a more balanced and peaceful life. So this methodology has been used in multiple conflict zones. So it's been used in Ukraine, it's been used in Gaza, it's been used in Kosovo. And a silver lining of the pandemic, COVID pandemic, was that the Center for Mind Body Medicine had to move all of its programs online, which meant that for the first time, it could provide support to the Iranian community in Iran. And so what they are doing now is supporting individuals in Iran who, one, are looking for emergency support, and two, they are training people in Iran on the ground, doctors, physicians, psychologists, psychiatrists, school teachers, community leaders. I think I heard there was even a hairstylist that they trained who was somewhat of a respected woman in the community who a lot of folks leaned on for support. So she's done and gone the advanced training. And there are groups that are happening in Iran now. So for example, a group was just started that's supporting 8 young men that have just been released from prison. And that is unbelievable because God only knows the trauma that they've experienced. And so what we are funding is the program in the US. Currently, the 2 women who are leading it, 2 Iranian Farsi speaking psychiatrists and psychologists, have done all of this in their free time, basically. And they've managed to train 80 people with a teeny tiny budget and without paying themselves. But this is not, we can't scale across the whole country in this format.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I want to be involved. I mean, I want to be like directly involved. It's so inspiring. I have a background as a health coach, life coach. It makes me want to get trained and then train others. It sounds like it's being done remotely.
Yes, and the next training is starting in March, and you're very welcome to join. And the training is all in Farsi because the intention is to support Farsi speaking people. So I'm very happy to share that with you, but there's an application process for that. And you don't have to have any particular certifications, but they do interview everyone and vet everyone and check background and so on. So yeah, I'd be happy to put you in touch with them.
Thank you for sharing about that. How has it been for you personally? This is your job. This is what you've done. You've done it for other cultures and countries and crises. But I could imagine that this is just obviously, you're Iranian. Is that right?
Yes, I am Iranian. And I lived in Iran for 5 years. So, it's very close. Feels very close to home.
Oh, wow. At what time did you live in Iran? At what age? When you were a baby?
No, from the age of 5 to about 10. So I was born in the US and had the unusual experience of then moving back to Iran in the 90s. And we spent about 5 years there.
Yeah. So definitely influential time for you that you remember. A lot of times when we talk to people, they maybe not remember a lot of, or have a lot of memories from living in Iran. So it's definitely influential time.
Yes.
Well, what an impact you can make. I mean, it sounds like you're fluent in Farsi.
I am. Yeah, I am fluent. It was an amazing time. And it's interesting because there's always difficult stories, right? But I think what I try to remember and highlight and talk about is the warmth of the Iranian people, the kind of feeling of being in the community and the feeling of just kind of everyone looking after each other and playing football or soccer, I should say, in the street and, being the goalie. I was usually the only girl out there. And, I have a lot of fond memories in the countryside and riding bikes. And it was an amazing experience and one that I cherish very deeply. So yeah, this feels close to home. And it's funny when I tell people that all this work is not my full-time job. All of these campaigns I have done with amazing people. None of these campaigns would be possible without the amazing contributors and teams that have worked on them.
So this is not your job. You have a day job.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, my day job is in tech. I've spent most of my career building technology companies, mission-driven technology companies. So it's very important to me personally that what I'm working on is moving the world forward in a positive way. So yeah, I spent like 4.5 years in education, and then I spent some time in the future of work, and now I'm spending time in the mind, body, health, mental health tech space.
Yeah, Layla Jun, this is really inspiring. And thank you so much, for helping build a platform where we can really just kind of share the Persian culture and the beautiful ingredients and the hospitality, and really showcasing kind of the nature of the people of Iran, with the Persian hospitality and through food. Food is just such a connector for all of us, and something that we can really like share with other people. We felt so helpless and just not knowing what to do. When kind of the protests first started, and at the beginning of this revolution, really, we didn't know what to do. We didn't want to be insensitive. We didn't want to be kind of sharing how we normally did and ignoring what was happening. So I think that this is really going to help not only us, but just people be able to show their support in a way. I'm very happy that there's ways that people can contribute monetarily, but this is also another way that people can contribute and influence others and share the warm hospitality and like such special things from our Persian culture. So thank you so much for being a pioneer in this and really helping shape this initiative and how people can really get involved.
Yeah, and potentially share their time. It sounds like, if we could maybe include the link for the organization that is training people with the mind body. I love the phrase that you use, food for thought. That's perfect. And then just circling back and bringing it back to food. And you mentioned that restaurants could have like a special day or maybe a menu item and just, call it Cook for Iran. And we had an owner of a local restaurant here in Palo Alto as a guest a couple of weeks ago. A restaurant like that, it's a modern version of a Persian restaurant. I am envisioning maybe even a non-Persian restaurant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Beata June and I have done some fun episodes like Persian-inspired cocktail drinks, and I have recently transitioned in my day job. I'm doing a little bit of event planning and office managing for a Bay Area startup and planning some events, but I'm envisioning like, okay, we could take some of our fun cocktails into any restaurant and call it, the Cook for Iran menu or something.
Yeah.
Definitely. And we have had quite a number of non-Iranian restaurants participating. So I don't know if you're familiar with Shuka Cook Shop Restaurant Group, led by Aisha, the incredible Aisha. They are adding 4 Iranian-inspired dishes this month, and they are donating all of the proceeds of that dish to CMBM. I mean,
Wow.
What an ally, truly. And then Imad Syrian Kitchen has added a salad for this month. Also, the hashtag Cook for Iran salad on their menu. It's a Syrian restaurant. Behind Restaurant in London, which is a Michelin star restaurant, not Iranian, no Iranian connection, is doing a pop-up dinner for us at the end of January. I mean, it is amazing what people have done.
Yeah. So we had Chef Bita, and I have a hard time pronouncing her last name, Mohajeri, is it?
This is a third Bita.
A third Bita. She's a chef. She does private dinner parties. They're called chef's tables. She did a Persian one that I was able to go to in Orange County. But I could see her doing one. I don't know if she could do 100% proceeds, but I could see her absolutely doing a Cook for Iran. I'm thinking of restaurant owners we know in New York, really close family friends. I could call right now and
please call. Literally, that's how
I'm going to.
We finish recording, you pick up the phone and you say, hey.
He has 13 restaurants, so it could make an impact. But yeah, so if a listener owns a restaurant, knows someone who owns a restaurant, where should they go?
So if you go to our website and click restaurants, there's a whole page for restaurants. And then you can email those ideas to your favorite restaurant, and you can then email us.
Okay. The website cookforiran.com is really nicely laid out.
Oh, thank you. I built it. So I'm delighted to hear that.
Yeah.
If you're connected to any restaurants or you're a restaurant owner or you want to refer it to an owner, go to cookforiran.com and click on restaurants.
Yes. And then also it's close to the end of the year. So if you have any, employer matching funds that you want to use to make donations, this is like a great time to do that. And I think just overall, just kind of raising awareness for what's happening in Iran and using food as a platform to share and giving us the opportunity to really showcase what Persian people and Persian culture is all about. So Layla June, thank you so much for your time today. As we'd have at the end of many of our episodes, we have an Ask the Beat section. If there is a question or anything that you would like to ask, we'd love to feature that question here.
Yes, I would like to know what you guys are planning to do for Cook for Iran individually.
Oh, yeah.
Good question.
Beata June, did you want to talk more about your cookie party?
Yeah, I'm planning to have cookies, of course, like I always do, but I'll also have little agile packets. I'll have information on there. I'm going to have some menu items. I'll probably take some pictures and post on social. We may collaborate a little bit of the sound clips of this episode with you, and hopefully just by sharing about it, we're doing our part a little bit
Absolutely.
with our listeners. But yeah, I'm going to have conversations, and my friends are really interested. I'm feeling grateful to be able to say, here's a way you can help. And I'm feeling really passionate about the avenue of helping that this initiative is leading us towards. So thank you so much.
Amazing. Yeah, it's my pleasure. I will definitely send you the link for the GoFundMe that we're using to raise funds for CMBM if you wanted to share that with your guests and suggest a donation. We always say when you're hosting a dinner or an event, and you can always share that and say, in lieu of a bottle of wine or bringing anything, like we suggest a donation to charity. You can always sort of have your cookie party be a Cook for Iran cookie party, and we will share it on social. And yeah, look forward to seeing the pictures from that, actually. And maybe you can have some Iran colored themed things there for them to decorate with.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm tying in Yalda. It's going to have red. It's going to have pomegranates. It's going to have watermelon. And I have cookies that are Yalda-ish. And I'm hoping Beata can come. If you want to fly out to California, you are invited.
Aww.
You're so sweet.
The door is open.
Every year for New Year's Day, I make ash Reshteh. And pre-COVID days, I would have a big open house, and whoever was around could stop by, have a bowl of ash to start their year off with kind of the good intention that I poured really into the soup.
Oh.
So this year, I think it's my first one. Yeah, it's my first one that we're going to have after the pandemic where people actually come. During the pandemic, I would make the ash and drop it off at people's houses and share that with our neighbors. But this year, I'm hoping to have a real life in-person one. And I think that'll be a great place to call out Cook for Iran and just bring everyone's awareness. And hopefully that with every spoonful of the hearty, beautiful ash Reshteh soup, it can help just build awareness and create change.
Yeah, absolutely. And please send us photos of that too. We'd love to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I will do. Layla June, thank you again for your time and for fitting us in. And this is great. Thank you for all your work that you're doing, you and your partners for the Cook for Iran initiative.
Thank you so much. It's been a really lovely conversation and a pleasure meeting you both. And I'm looking forward to seeing your photos and, answering any questions from your community of listeners.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll link to all of that in our show notes so everyone has access to it all.
Thank you. Until next time.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Modern Persian Food Podcast with Beata and Bita. Thanks for spending time with us. If you've enjoyed what you heard today, consider telling a friend or giving us a good rating. You can subscribe to our show for free on your favorite podcasting app or find us online at modernpersianfood.com or on Instagram for the recipes and information we talked about today. We'd love to hear your thoughts and see you next time.